anniversary, 12 years, a wedding anniversary. Pretty excited about that. So we had a nice little had a nice little dinner last night. We had oh excuse me, oh, gotta sneeze. Uh, uh, we had sauerkraut and mashed potatoes and niffles. So she made me dinner last night. It was quite delicious. Kids, obviously, everybody was there, but uh, yeah, I just kind of wanted to check in with you. We're doing well. We had a nice day yesterday. Obviously, with that being our anniversary, and still trying to uh, stay stay busy and at the same time staying safe. The way it looks, the numbers are starting to come down. They're starting to taper off across the country as far as the coronavirus goes. So that is encouraging news. And we're just waiting this little ride out. I think we'll be back to a new normal uh, um, sooner than later. So uh, you know I would encourage you, just make sure that you've got all your little um, uh, things done that are needing to be done before. Hi, Neil. Hi. Is everybody watching with you? And Amanda, hello, hello. So, yeah. So, in what I'm seeing and what I'm reading, it looks like things are going well. There there are obviously, depending on who you listen to, but it looks like, I think it was in California, they were not only testing for people that have the coronavirus, but people that had coronavirus antibodies. And they were doing some testing like that, and a huge number of people um, um, are estimated to have already had the coronavirus and now have the antibodies, so that they are not getting sick, or won't get sick and die from it. So the number of people that have gotten the coronavirus and have not been sick because of it is increasing it, and people that um, so I guess the people that have died from it is staying the same. So with those kind of numbers coming out of California, um, it looks back into the swing of things. I know that um, there are some things that are needed to be done around the yard at Paragon, and so I've been called back to work. I worked yesterday and I worked today, so they've got some infrastructure stuff that needs to get done so that when we open back up officially, we're good to go. We also had a couple of um, yeah, just infrastructure type stuff to make sure that we're up and running. So that's a good thing. So I am believing that sooner than later we are going to be full swing up and running here in Michigan. Obviously, the governor is going to kind of roll those out gradually. But again, I think we're headed in the right direction. I think we're on that downward, that the flattening of that curve, and then kind of on the downward swing. So I don't think that we're completely out of the woods yet, but at least I think that we can see the trees at the edge of the forest. I guess if that's a decent analogy for being out of the woods. So praise God for that. I guess I'd say all that to say, get ready, because I think that we'll be, getting back to, I, so used to saying getting back to normal. Get back to a normal that you're comfortable with. Get back to a normal that's acceptable for you and for your family. Did you enjoy the time that you were able to spend? I mean, you were required, like, right, like we had a shelter in place order, and so it was government mandated. But didn't you enjoy not having to do all of the things that you have to do, all of the events that are required to go to? Um, um, you know, be thinking. Sit down and have a game plan. What did you like about the quarantine? What didn't you like about the quarantine? What are some things that you want to continue to do? When the quarantine is lifted, and what are some things that you're gonna say? You know what? We're gonna guard our hearts. We're gonna guard our families against the previous normal, against the busyness of what we were doing. Um, um, I guess that would be my. Uh, uh, let's be prepared for when things go back to non-quarantine, not no longer being sheltered, having to shelter in place, and what is that going to look like for you? We encourage school-age children to practice regularly a fire drill so that they know what's going to happen in case of a fire. Same thing with tornado drills. Public buildings have to have a plan on the wall, saying, "Hey, what are you going to do?" So that everybody knows what's going to happen. Before you take off on a plane, you go through the safety checks. If A happens, you're supposed to do B. So because it's going to happen, when the quarantine is lifted, sit down with your family and say, hey, look, when this quarantine is lifted, what do you like? What do you not like? What do you want to go back to? What don't you want to have our focus be? So I would just encourage you to sit down and to make those plans, and then stick to them. Stick to them. Make sure that you have a good roadmap, and that you stick to it once this quarantine is lifted. And um, I think that there's a lot of good that people are seeing coming out of this. I know that a lot of people are upset here in Michigan with the governor not being able to purchase seeds. Well, part of the reason that people are upset with not being able to purchase seeds is because I think people, uh, maybe that weren't before, are more interested in doing a vegetable garden. I know we sell rabbits, and I know that a lot of people were, more so than normal, wanting to purchase rabbits. And I think people are starting to, or at least this coronavirus quarantine, shelter in place, whatever, kind of opened people's eyes to saying, ooh, how much am I relying on somebody else to meet my needs? You know, my kids know that food doesn't come from the grocery store. They know that beef comes from a cow, and pork comes from a pig, that sort of thing. Um, Eggs come from a chicken's butt, you know, and but I have heard before all of this. Um, uh, Quick story: Kate's dad, they have chickens, and he is an interior house painter. He likes to, when he's working on somebody's house, if they've never had before, give them farm fresh eggs. And so he gave a dozen to this customer. And normally, I don't know if you're familiar, but like a chicken egg is going to have a typically a thicker shell. They're not all going to be the same size, and the yolk is typically larger and it's a more vibrant color. And so those are things that people, the first time seeing a fresh egg, will notice that is different from the regular grade A white dozen that you buy in the store. Anyways, he hadn't heard from his customer about how much better tasting they were or how much more vibrant the color was. And so he had said, "Hey, what did you think of the eggs that I gave you?" And the response that she gave was, "I haven't cooked them yet." And so he pressed her, wondering why. And she said, "I don't know how to tell my kids that these eggs came out of a chicken's butt." And to me, I mean, I grew up on a farm. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what are you thinking? Where do you think that eggs come from? Well, eggs come from a store. So, uh, so it's just like it baffles me. But I think that this quarantine kind of made people realize how much am I on the hook for somebody else to provide for things that I need. Um, and I think people are trying to, I can't remember how long ago it was, but I remember there was a show, the show, I think it's on the History Channel. I don't know. I don't have those cable channels, but the Preppers show, the Doomsday Preppers, and they made a big reality, or not reality, but like a show out of all of these preppers. And, there were a number of people that are like, these guys are just a bunch of kooks. Well, um, they kind of have a point. How much are you reliant? How much are you dependent on somebody else to feed your family? And if something like this were to happen again, are you going to be more prepared, or are you going to be having the same preparedness? Um, I may once this is all over have Katie go buy a stockpile of toilet paper, because for whatever reason everybody decided to steal all the toilet paper from the grocery stores, which I think is completely ludicrous. But um, just simple things like that. So uh, yeah, take a look at what you want your new normal to be, and plan on it, because when this is over, um, we would do well to not lose the lessons that we've learned in this time. God doesn't ever. Romans 8:28 says, God works all things for good for them that love Him and are called according to His purpose. Um, uh, I don't remember who it was, but I know it was a liberal politician said that never let a good crisis go to waste. Don't let this, and I think the reason he said it was foolishness, but I will say this: don't let this crisis go to waste. Learn from it. Come out a better person, ready to face normal, and then also ready to face if something else, squirrely happens again. Be more prepared, um, for 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 bad times. And then I will also say this: if you're not a believer, um, you should be prepared for end times, because we've all got a date, uh, which will no longer be existing. So if you've not done some, in other words, you're gonna die. Everybody's got an expiration date, and we don't know when that expiration date is. It could be, at 103, in our sleep, or it could be, something tragic, as a number of people have unfortunately passed away due to the coronavirus, or car accidents. So we've all got an expiration date, um, and I would just say, uh, do you have confidence that when your physical flesh body is expired, that your spirit body, which everyone has, uh, is going to a better place? So, you know, how prepared are you? And if in this quarantine you've said to yourself, there's got to be more to life than this, there is. There's much more to life than just this, rat race that we were in, to and fro, back and forth to work. There's more to life than, um, you know, eating and sleeping and paying taxes. Um, that more to life is Jesus. And if you feel like there's an emptiness, or there's a missing something, you don't have a peace that goes beyond your understanding, there's a God that loves you, and a man that came and lived and died and rose again because he wanted you to know him in a real way. Um, So if you don't have a personal relationship with Jesus, get with the person that shared this video. Shoot me comments on the Hickory Ridge Facebook page, or send me a direct message, or get a hold of me somehow, or get a hold of your local Bible believing church. And, you know, there's not, there, there's not anything that I can say that I've regretted having a relationship with Jesus. So, um, yeah, there it is. I hope that you are all well. I hope that you are all ready, and that you come out of this shelter in place, this quarantine, this coronavirus better. Better for you, better for your family, and better for the plans that God has for you when this is all over and done with. So I seen Laura Miller. I don't know if she's watching anymore or not. Hi, Laura Miller. Hi, Miller family. Um, Anybody else watching? Hi, hello. Please follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the notification bell so that when we go live, you will be notified. So, I love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.